I just had moved to Singapore. I was somewhat on a break and I got very excited about AI. Something big was coming there. Coming up with a good idea is difficult. There is a problem with support. Support is broken. Support is usually low quality. It's very painful for merchants. It's costly, it's expensive. Nobody wants to do it. A lot of the support AI that we still see at the moment don't take action. It's very basic Q&A. The next generation is definitely coming there and taking up.
I'm Jake Aaron Villarreal, born and raised in Silicon Valley, and here to take you behind the scenes to share what it's like to be a startup founder, the journey they're on, the problems they're solving, the products they're building, in an effort to transform industries. I'm excited to have with us today Guillaume Lucisano, co-founder and CEO of Yuma AI. Guillaume, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, Jack.
Well, thanks for coming on. I know we had a call a few weeks back, and I've been thinking a lot about our conversation then, and happy to have you back and talk a little bit about your company and the problem you're solving today in this whole mecca of AI that we're seeing rapidly take over a lot of different sectors and industries. Before we do that, though, where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Boston, actually. Just moved to Boston a few months ago.
Hundreds of AI startups are launching every month, battling to build their founding teams. As a leader, your job is to get results. When it comes to hiring, that's where it gets tough. So you go out and you try a recruitment firm, but they don't understand your story. They're off target, and when they send you candidates, it's a waste of time. We believe you should never have your time wasted. That's why we launched Match Relevant, because your story is more than just an open role. It's your founder's journey, the problem you're solving, the product you're building, and why it matters. When we work with companies, we make sure we understand your whole story. So when we go out and do a search, we're on target, it's worth their time, they're interested, and more importantly, it's worth yours. And when it comes to hiring engineers, we work to make sure we get it right by deploying a team of seasoned CTOs that have built some of Silicon Valley's best companies. They can collaborate with you in the technical interviewing process, they can be a sounding board, or they can run it for you. When it comes to building teams, there's no time to waste. Let's make it count. If you have a role that needs to be filled, book a time with a hiring guide at matchrelevant.com and learn how we do it. I love that area. Where were you before Boston?
Interesting. So I'm French originally, as you can hear with my accent.
Yeah.
Spent 10 years in San Francisco. Amazing time there from 2010 to 2020. Moved back to France for COVID. Then after a short trip in Singapore, and moved back to Boston for back to the US. Exciting to be back to the US. Many reasons. Our customers are here. That our team are split between the US and Europe. So it was good to be back in the US and East Coast this time around.
Yeah, got it. Very cool. Well, East Coast, West Coast, technology is innovating everywhere. And I guess before we jump into your story, just a little bit more background on Guillaume. He is, as we know from France, a serial entrepreneur, angel investor. He previously was the co-founder of Socialcam and Triplebyte. Currently, he is building his third Y Combinator startup, as we talked about, Yuma AI, which deploys autonomous AI agents at scale to help merchants automate customer support. We're going to talk a little bit about your company and the problem it solves today, but I want to touch base a little bit more on your background. We kind of both started in technology. I started in Silicon Valley. You came to Silicon Valley. Justin TV was a company that we had heard about for a while, and you were part of that, which ended up having a great history. It morphed into Twitch, which was acquired by Amazon, and the people that you met there, the founders, you continued to build with. Went to Socialcam with Michael Siebel, who's Y Combinator partner for many years now, but really had a great exit there. In parallel, when that was happening with you, I was doing the same thing, but in startups. I'd also been working in Silicon Valley and trying to figure out what was the next transformation that was happening. The dot-com boom came and went in 2000. And then around 2007, 8, 9-ish, we saw this mobile transformation come and social and video and streaming. And it was all kind of what was it going to become, and gaming and all that came around. And it sounded like you were in the right spot at the right time. You were part of the exit of Socialcam. We talked about that a little bit, which was a nice exit. I think you shared like 60 million or somewhere in that range.
Yes.
At the same time, I had built a company. We had an exit as well. And so as we continued in our parallel journeys, we kind of seemed to be aligning in different areas. But you had a technology platform that was acquired, and then you went on to become your own CEO and leader of companies. So a really good transition there of where you started, where you're at today. But in that, as you grew up and going back a little bit farther than that, did you have that DNA of being an entrepreneur from an early age, or what really inspired you to get into that whole sector?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting question. So I think it's hard to say. I mean, because when you're a kid, like it's you want to build stuff, but projecting yourself that far, building a huge company is something else, right? Um, Always wanted to build something, um, and I think the lucky thing here is that I got into some software engineering, so I started to build things, and naturally, when you're in software engineering, it's easy to put something out to the world, right? Easy to test something, easy to give it to users, easy to test. So I think that that's what made the bridge here. I wanted to build things for people, and being in software made this a possibility. And I think, as you said, um, so you know, I did like an engineering school in Paris, and interestingly, that school was, it's called engineering school, but it's actually a coding school. So what we did for 5 years is just coding. And it's interesting because like the more you code, the better you get at coding. And I think like that was a great school in that sense where it was great to build stuff. And so, shortly after finishing school, I arrived at Justin TV in SF, and that's where I got extremely lucky. And you mentioned that, like, awesome founders, awesome environment. The momentum was crazy. Like, it was on mobile, it was social, it was, as you said, like, I mean, the live streaming, the video on mobile was emerging. So I got lucky to be kind of the right place at the right time on that front. That really helped me, um, you know, becoming an entrepreneur there. And I think like here, shout out to Michael, like on that front. You mentioned him, but like basically, I mean, the backside of the story here, that what happened. I was at Justin TV, like I was, new employee there. We were probably 25 people when I joined Justin TV, but came back from vacation one day, and Michael came to me and said, "Hey, um, we have this product here, Socialcam, and I've been working on it. Like, and we're gonna do a spin-off. Do you want to be part of it and be a co-founder with me, with another engineer?" And it was like, it's kind of like lucky to be at the right place at the right time, where I had the chance to be a founder, and it was easy path for me. Like, it was not, like there could definitely have been a more struggling path to become a founder, and here it was easy path where it just like it happened, and it was a great beginning.
Yeah, right time, right place. How did you end up getting connected with Justin TV in the first place? How did that happen? Did they recruit you? Did you connect with people that
It's
they
it's inter-
knew?
it's interesting. There is a okay. So Justin TV was a Y Combinator company, and Y Combinator had an event that called Work at a Startup. And I think they had this in 2010, well, 2009 or 2010 probably. And they did this again recently. But basically, it was an event, Work at a Startup, where you just apply, you send your resume there, and all the YC company at the time could look at it and invite people over. And that's what happened. I applied
Got
there,
it.
got lucky, I got connected to some great startup back then. And Justin TV was one of them.
And the rest is history. I like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really amazing. Yeah, we've heard so much about that story over the years, but it's good to talk to someone who was on the inside of kind of how things rolled out and how things transpired. Um, when we talk to vendors or we talk to founders, rather, it's always about what problem are you solving that's helping a company do their job better or create an efficiency somewhere, and is it worth paying for? AI is a part of every sector's life today, and it's going to continue to be. Give us a little inspiration about what happened. How did you come across the idea of Yuma, and really what's been the inspiration behind wanting to try and solve this problem?
Yeah, totally. So I guess as background, you mentioned it at the beginning, but we are building a platform to deploy AI agent at scale for e-commerce for merchants to help them automate their support. Uh, and the way it started, okay, so the way it started, that's an interesting one. So um, I just had moved to Singapore. I was somewhat on the break, and I got very excited about AI. Anything about AI. It was pre-ChatGPT. Um, and the thing is, I had a good friend that was working at OpenAI at the time that left OpenAI to build his own company. And we were talking, I was like, why? I mean, I thought you were great, a good job at OpenAI. You loved it. Where are you living? What's happening? And he got me all excited about LLM and generative AI. Started to build prototype, uh, and it was like actually extremely exciting because back then, it felt like all the big technology waves had fed out. Mobile was kind of like fed out, SaaS was fed out, like crypto was gone back then, and like there was nothing, and boom, there was this sparks of LLM coming up, and this and we could see that there was something. I could see that something big was coming there. Build a bunch of prototype, and funny story, had a Shopify store at some point in my life, as a side project. When my first daughter was born, I kind of like fell in love with like a French brand selling toys, and I said, "Oh, I should do that for the US." And I contacted them, started selling those toys in the US. And so I had some affinity with like being a merchant and owning a store and having to deliver support. And one of the obvious use cases with LLM and generative AI is like support. You see that you can generate message and it seems like, yeah, let's answer. It seems easy. uh, so build a prototype there. I had a friend that is the founder of Gorgeous, which is like an help desk for merchant, and was talking to him, and he said you should make an app. I made the app in a week, published it, and basically at some point the next, published it, nothing happened. It's usually what happened. You launch something and nothing happens. It's always, you always get ready. I'm going to launch something, but always nothing happened. So I launched it, nothing happened. But like 3 days later, I wake up and I had 50 emails from merchants and they wanted to try it out.
Hmm.
And lucky me, it was exactly at the same time as ChatGPT came out. It was about the same technology and the same time and it was just look like a copilot for support agent, helping them generate draft to answer, customers' inquiry faster. And I woke up and I had those 50 email, and it was just the morning, so I kept getting more email every few minutes, and I was like, oh well, there is something there, like it. And I'm not good at ideation, I think I'm pretty decent, pretty good at building product and iterating on product and delivering something to users, but coming up with a good idea is difficult on what to build. And here, like I could sense this pull from the market where, oh, there is a need there. There is a problem with support. Support is broken. Support is usually low quality. It's very painful for merchant. It's costly, it's expensive. Nobody wants to do it. So support is a huge pain, and it's like a huge source of cost, a huge source of frustration for merchant, for customers as well, obviously, because like how often like did you have to like talk to support at anywhere, and you had to talk to a dumb chatbot or interact or just wait for days to get an answer, right? So like support is bad, and what we're doing is, we want to end bad support. We want to bring great support for every customers, and we want to solve that problem for merchants.
Yeah.
So that's what we are. Sorry, I took some tangent here, but from the very beginning to kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I mean, customer support and focus, is it specifically in e-commerce companies?
It's a good point. So we started with e-commerce, but now we have retail store that they have physical store, so we can do hybrid. Any any merchant, I will say, if you're a retailer, you sell online or offline, we can help.
Yeah, there's a lot of innovation in that space. I mean, I'm using a new platform in the last week or so here, and I had an issue with it, and you know they have the chat support that you can go through, and then you get someone, and you're talking to an AI, and then pretty soon you're talking to somebody that's a real person, and then even then you're still like, okay, well, that sounds like a problem. It's a little more complex. We'll get back to you in 24 to 48 hours,
Mm.
and it's just not like ideal. Now, maybe I had a complex problem, or maybe that's just the standard for responding to customers that have issues.
So that's a good point, right? And that, I think that's what's changing. So what we saw in the past is kind of and that was the beginning, right, of using LLM for support, is to do Q&A. You ask a question, you get an answer, and so you have a knowledge base that's just going to give you an answer, like an FAQ. And what we do, and if you really want to solve customers' issue, is you need your AI agent to take action. So you need to give the same abilities that you give to your you need to give the same ability to your AI agent as the same abilities that human agent have to deal with a request. So for example, here for your particular request, you need to have an AI agent that can take action, that can find information about your account, your specific problem somewhere in some external services, but also can take action to solve it. And that's what we do. That's how you solve support, is actually by mimicking what any support agent is going to do, connecting that AI agent to external services. Um, and so maybe the tool you played with you interacted with didn't have that. A lot of the support AI that we still see at the moment don't take action. It's very basic Q&A,
Yeah.
and the next generation is definitely coming there and taking off.
Yeah. Well, it could be a good customer for you because it certainly was frustrating for me. And, ultimately I ended up just having to hold tight until they got back to me. And it was a fairly simple request. So I was just a little shocked, and it's a pretty good company. They raised $70 million. They're doing well in the market. It's not like they don't have the money, but I think just the process of really getting to the right answer for the right person and the right problem is the key. And you talked about AI agents, and we're hearing a lot more about agents being more engaging and really taking initiative, not necessarily just giving an answer. So, talk to me specifically about how it's different now versus how it used to be, and your product specifically. Like AI
No,
agents, we want to see the action being taken, but maybe it's not always taken at the level we would hope. What's yours do differently?
yeah, no, that's a very good point here. I started to talk about AI agent, but I think it's good to take a step back and look at what are those and what they do. So, um, in short, basically, an AI agent is using LLM. So, like, let's say using ChatGPT for like to simplify. So we use ChatGPT. We give it a process to follow, and we give it access to, again, external services or action they can take. And the goal is really to replicate what a human agent could do to solve specific inquiries. And by giving this agent the right process at the right time, with the right tool at the right time, and with the right quality control and safety boundaries, um, you can basically mimic, or replicate the behavior that a support agent will do. Like, first you get a ticket. It's an inquiry about changing an order or changing an address on an order, for example. Like, first the AI agent is going to have to find the order. So it's going to have, if it doesn't have enough information, it's going to ask for more information. Then the AI agent is going to go find the order. Then after, it's going to take the action. It's going to confirm the action with the customer, and it can solve the, end to end. It can solve the request. Um, and 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 that's what we've been building basically for the past year and a half, is like, how can we build that platform that orchestrate those AI agents, and again, specific for retailer, for merchant, and for support, because like, and we have to be specific, because the type of request you get is going to be different if you are in the hotel industry, e-commerce, like airline. It's very different. Like, support is very different. um, and being focused on support is also important, because like, it's not the same type of request you get if you are, for a merchant, there is what happened before a sale and kind of what happened after. It's not the same type of request. um does this answer your question on
Yeah, it
the yeah,
does.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it does. For the listeners that can't see the product, walk us through it. So you brought up a retail company. Let's
Yeah,
say, it's a company that's selling shoes, and, they've got customers coming in and buying. Maybe they're buying in the store, maybe they're buying online,
yeah,
whatever their website happens to be. But there's issues that come up. They need to talk to an agent. They need to talk to somebody to get some support. Where does your agent step in, and what specifically can it do all the way through? Walk us through what it looks like as you're logging in. Is it a web page you're logging into, and
yeah.
kind of?
No, it's very good question. Okay, so those merchants, what they have in the background, they have a support ticketing system, right? They have a way, and we call this an help desk. They have a way to, it's kind of a mailbox, right? A shared mailbox to manage support. And so they receive requests there, and those requests can be, they can be a chat, they can be an email, they can be a contact phone, a WhatsApp, SMS, kind of any channel. The goal is to aggregate all the channel there. Uh, and what we are at Yuma, we are a plug and play solution that we connect directly to this platform. So this ticketing platform, this help desk, and we basically add a new agent to it. except it's not a human agent, it's going to be an AI agent. And what we do is every new message, every new request that comes in, we're going to analyze it and see if we can trigger our agent on it. And we're very big on safety. So the goal is to be very safe and see like, are we allowed to take on this channel? Are we allowed to look at this type of request? And if we are, we look at it and we basically go try to find the process to try to solve it. So if it's the order status inquiry, we're gonna trigger our AI agent about order status. If it's an order change, we're gonna trigger our agent about order change, and we're gonna try to follow the process here. So the process is always custom, based on the merchant, what they want, their policies, based on their integration, and the goal is really to try to solve fully the request that comes in. And so we're very transparent, right? It's just like adding a new agent on your team that's just gonna start taking on tickets, just like another support agent, except it's 24/7, any language. It's kind of like the has the full knowledge. Um, it's gonna be faster. It's definitely an unfair advantage compared to humans, if you look at it this way. Um, and right now, our top merchants can automate, about fully automate, like full automation, like no human interact at all, no human interaction, like close to 60, about 60% of their ticket, right? And that's a huge number. Like we have some merchants at the moment, we're automating 5,000 tickets for them. Like during Black Friday, like season, like 5,000 tickets a day. We're just automating those for them, and it's just like it's huge, especially during peak season. It's like which peak season are big issues for a retailer because they have to staff, and like it's temporary, and we can come in and do that. Um, that's basically how it works. We connect and we bring those AI agents to the platform, and it's transparent. So any channel of communication, chat, email, or else, we're taking it. Voice is gonna come. Voice is a bit more challenging because if you want to be very safe and have quality control and be fairly advanced in what you can do, you have this problem with the latency because you have to be fast.
Hmm.
Um, that adds some challenge, but voice is definitely coming. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
how
really
it is.
cool. You've got, I mean, if you think about commerce in general, there's a huge market, and I know customer support seems to be one of the easier areas to really use the application of AI and AI agents for. Reduce cost. You don't have to hire as many people. There's no emotions involved. So you've gone out, you've raised $5 million. You have a team. You're executing on bringing this product to the market. As a company, and as you're competing with a lot of different technologies today, trying to capture this space as well. What's the biggest challenge for the company today?
Um, I'll say three, at the moment, right? One of the big one is staying at the edge. So I think we are at the edge of what's doable with AI. But I mean, as you know, the world of AI is moving just so fast at the moment that uh, definitely challenging. We need to keep pushing every single day here, and it's interesting because it's my third company, and I don't think I felt that much pressure to go fast before. Even though we had the pressure before, like we had always had
Right.
to go fast, but like it seems
Yeah.
this time it's like this time's 10. Like we need to be all in all the time to deliver the best product and the best value, and to stay really on top of the tech like all the time. So that's number one. Like keep bringing new capabilities, and our merchants are pushing us every day to see like I want more, I want to automate more. So how do we keep doing that? And at the same time, AI can be complicated to deploy. It's not always magic. It's not like a push of a button, like boom, I have my AI agent and now I'm automating support and I can go to sleep and I'm done with it, right? Like it doesn't work this way. Otherwise it's random. You need to tell your AI what to do, when to do it, and correct it if it goes, of course. And so finding ways to simplify and to make this moment more magical is big deal. So that's one of our challenge as well. We're making progress. Everyone is trying to make this simpler, adopting AI simpler. But ideally, adopting an AI agent will be just like you add a team member in your team, and you say, okay, now you are in charge of this. If you have any question, you come to me, and boom, it's done. Right? That's kind of the end goal. You want to get there. We're not there yet, but we want to get there. Um, and then after, the other challenge for us as a company, um, I will say is our US expansion. Like we have been very good in Europe and we have some great brand in North America and in the US, but like we need to accelerate in the US. Um, and that's I guess that's my fault, being maybe being French or whatever. Like uh, but that's internal. That's us. Be
Yeah.
more aggressive in the US because we have to be yeah.
Yeah. Got it. We hear all the time when you're building technology and you're bringing products to market, you have to have a moat. And sometimes it's just you're first to market and that's your moat because no one can catch up, or maybe it's patents you have that no one can really use without paying you, or maybe just in general, it's hard to get into a specific sector. And, the moat is just trying to get in. It's really expensive. Um, we are looking at what's happening in the industry when it comes to people, because without people, the technology isn't really going to innovate itself. You need the right team. And so we talk about what's the moat around your people, because what we're seeing, and this is really across the industry, is you've got the big companies, the big tech companies, you've got the big AI companies, and they're trying to scale up as fast as they can. They're in an arms race, and they're also looking at where do they find their people, and they're talking to every company that has AI engineers and have people in the AI space. So it's no longer the small startups that you can hire people and keep them. It's you hire people for your startup, and your people are getting messaged left, right, and center about come join X company. We're bigger, we have more funding, we're scaling. What's the moat? What are you doing to keep your people on board, focused, engaged, on mission, and loyal?
Yeah, yeah, that's very good point. So I think one of the answer here back to what we said earlier. So we're not in SF at the moment. We have some people in SF, but we are not in SF. So we are spread. Um, to keep people, I think we have we're working out to just build a great product, deliver value, and delivering value and growing and being at the edge technology wise, like is fairly exciting. And I think everyone is finding very exciting at the company. So I think that's we move fast, we build great people, we deliver value, and that's good combo to kind of like keep people excited. Uh, Good vision as well, based on where we're going. We're on support right now. There are more things we want to do. But I'm with you. It is definitely challenging. Like you do want the best people. Um, I don't think there is any particular secret here. I will say avoiding SF is probably good, and the fact that we're not limiting ourselves to a particular geo has been good to us. So we have been able
Yeah.
to get talents in many places where they are.
Yeah, I think that's really a huge advantage for startups or even companies in general. That if you're not tying yourself to a specific geography, I know it's sometimes desired, so you can get together with teams on a daily basis. But
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of tools that are helping companies just build remotely and sustain and scale remotely. So I think you have an advantage if that's your strategy. Um, we like to look at what's the career track you're bringing people on, and what's the vision they can see themselves continuing to grow with the company in, so that you're not just having them come on board, but you're really painting a picture of where they can be as you succeed. I mean, we say this, but so many times when we're talking to candidates and they're coming to us, it's they've lost touch with their founders. You have
mm,
one-on-ones, but you're really not talking and asking the right questions of, you know, are you really happy right now? What do you need from us to really satisfy, where you're at in your career? Like, the tough questions, you don't want to ask those questions, because the fear is you can say, what do you need from us? And the answer could be, I need more money, I need more autonomy, I need to work from home. It could be a number of things you don't necessarily want to hear. But if they're being honest, at least you can support the process. The opposite to that is you get an email or a call, someday, and it's like, hey, I'm putting in my 2 week notice. And it's not everyone gets it and you hate it, but what could you have done differently? So being proactive and preempting that, we just think it's such an easy thing to do, but I think it's something you forget about as a leader. And it's happened to us too, by the way. So I'm speaking from experience. Um, as a
yeah,
company, you're growing, you're building. There's a lot of conversation around agents. Um, you're talking about e-commerce, but now retail. Is there any area that you think has the most growth for the type of product you're bringing to market as you look at 2025?
Yeah, I think it like what we see is that first we're gonna keep diving into support as we do, like covering more ground, doing more, expanding, and raising up that automation rate for our merchant, bringing more value. But I think merchant, the more we talked about then, the more they want all inclusive solution, which mean like they want something, they want help on support, but they also want to help on pre-sale, which mean like they want sales, they want AI full cycle. They want AI on their website to help convert and do more sale, but they want AI after to help support customer request. Um, and no choice. We're definitely gonna do this because they want, and it's easier this way, right? We started on support, so we can do all the support thing, and after we can come and help for the rest as well of the
Yeah.
customer journey.
Wow,
That's
that's really
definitely coming up.
exciting. I mean, we're seeing a market where AIs are going to be talking to each other from sales to support to innovation, operations, marketing, like all across the board. We see a world where, it might just be a handful of people and you're hiring agents that are integrating and communicating and, getting products into market and selling and supporting. So that's kind of what we're seeing. I know it's coming. I don't know when and who's going to do it all, but uh, I don't know if you need to do it all either. Might just be part of a strategy of
Yeah.
part of the business. So that's really exciting. As you head into 2025 on the roadmap, I think you kind of explained where things are headed, but is there anything else that we can be excited about over the next 6-12 months that you're bringing into the market aside from coming into the US and really accelerating here?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the big ambition. Definitely bigger in the US, bigger presence in the US. Those full customer journey to be here from start to end, very important. Voice is coming up. Obviously, our goal is to be omni-channel. We're gonna cover the customer wherever they are, whatever channel they want to use. Um, those are the big things, but they're big enough that we definitely have a lot to build here. And the goal is hug and stay at the edge all the time. Like we have no choice if we want to keep automation to go up and those AI agents, to go from a good idea to something that keeps bringing value at scale. Like it's definitely not the same thing. Like and we need to keep pushing on that front.
Yeah, really
Always
cool.
improving
I
those
love
elements.
that. Well, if anybody wants to find you or they want to find your company, where do they go?
Yuma.ai, that's the company. As always, on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Got
We're
it.
gonna be there. Yeah.
Very cool. So that's yuma.ai. And yeah, extremely excited to see where things go. Happy we had a chance to talk here and excited that you came on to share your story. And for the listeners, I'm excited that you shared your time with us today. It means a lot to me. I'm your host, Jake Aaron Villarreal, signing off for now, but can't wait to catch up with you all on the next episode. Until then, take care. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Follow us on YouTube where we go behind the scenes to learn what it takes to be a startup founder.